Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. DJ Yoakley with you. Warren JFK, Coach's Corner with Kayla Zaccole, the girls' soccer coach of 8 years. We were just talking off the mic. That's incredible. How fast has that gone?
It's gone very fast. I played soccer at YSU, and I played club soccer for almost my whole life at Tri-County Soccer Club. And I got a call from Mo, who's the guy, and he's like, "Hey, I know you're about to graduate. Like, what's your plan?" I'm like, I don't really know. I'm looking for a job, doing whatever. He's like, "Do you want to start coaching, like your own team?" I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So I showed up here. I took an interview at like barely 21 years old, and 8 years later, here we are. So
It's incredible. And you're just starting the stages of your life, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, did you always kind of maybe see yourself as a coach, or is it one of the things, like you said, it just kind of happened? Like, did you ever think in the back of your mind as you're playing, like, I can see myself on the sidelines?
So I think in a weird way, yes, now looking back, but then maybe not.
Okay.
So I was someone at YSU that wasn't always a starter. I was more of like a sub-in type of person. So I saw the sideline like a coach a lot. So when my friends were starting, or they would be like, "Hey, what did I do right? What did I do wrong?" Instead of going to the coach, they'd come to me.
Right.
So a lot of the times I kind of was subtly coaching them
Sure.
without realizing that. There's actually kind of a funny story. One of my friends, our senior year, the coach was telling her to do something, and I was telling her to do the opposite. And he's like looking at me like, "No, like listen to me." And I'm like, "No, listen to
Oh
me."
my
So
God.
we kind of had a moment there that was a little out of pocket. But for the most part, I think that the coaching was always in me,
Yeah.
and just was finding a way to come out whatever. But as a player, I always was the captain, or I always played a position that I had to do a lot of talking and be vocal. So like I said, I think it kind of naturally, the leadership kind of naturally came, and then the coaching accidentally came, and then here it is now. So it's good.
How have you transitioned? How have you changed from year 1 to year 8 in your coaching style?
I think year one, I was just obviously trying everything for the first time and seeing what worked and what didn't work. And then obviously, like at that stage, things worked then that don't work now. It's really just been a lot of trial and error, I guess. From then, I was just very excited all of the time because I had no idea really what's to come. I would say that I'm a little bit more comfortable now.
Mhm.
I walk into games a lot less stressed, in the sense of I feel like as a coach, I know how to properly prepare at this rate
Right.
when it comes to practices and preseason. So when it comes to the game time, I'm not so worried and trying to talk so much. I kind of at that point can sit a little bit. I don't ever sit, but I try not to talk so much and let them kind of play. Um, just trying to teach them a little bit about me. I think the older that I get in this coaching, I realize as much as I want them to understand where I'm coming from, sometimes that's not what they need to hear all the time.
Right.
It's just keeping it soccer as much as possible, and if they need an outlet, then being there. I would say that's probably the biggest growing thing.
Sure.
Soccer only, kind of keep the therapy sessions for therapy.
Well, it's interesting you say that because, I mean, so many young ladies and young males for that, they need a role model. And
Absolutely.
sometimes, they're in a weird stage in life where mom and dad are always wrong, but coach is always right.
Hmm.
How do you walk that fine line with, like, letting them know that, it's important, family first, and obviously faith, should be at the top, faith, family, and then Kennedy soccer.
Yeah.
How do you make sure that's established in that line?
I try to have very open conversations all of the time about anything, any type of coaching that I'm giving. I'm trying to relate it back to real life.
Yep.
In the sense of this is why we're doing it as a team, because in the workplace, this is how it's going to be. And okay, you have to be able to take criticisms because you're boss. So I'm constantly trying to relate life situations into that. So I think the fine line is trying to show them based off of what I've done and failed with, and kind of guide them based off of that, but really just giving them all the tools and resources I can. At the end of the day, it is on them to take it and go with it. But I do think that we have a very open line of communication. So if there's anything they don't understand as a human,
Yep.
as a student, and as a soccer player, they do feel like they can come to me, and I hopefully can either direct them in the right way or give them the answer that they're looking for.
Very loving environment here
Very
at Kennedy. When you think about this program when you started and the talent that it had as opposed to the talent it has now, has it been across the board? Has it been up and to the right? How has it been for you? And how have you managed the talent, and we see all the talent you have on your roster this particular year.
Yes.
How do you manage that and manage expectations for those particular girls?
So the first 4 years I coached, we had a very strong group of 4-ish to 5-ish girls.
Yeah.
All very similar to like a DD in competitive nature.
Mm-hmm.
My goalkeeper, I had 2 center mids, and I had a striker that scored goals like a maniac for me. So for the first 4 years, I kind of walked into okay, I know soccer, I know how to win soccer games, and I have the people that can do that.
Mm-hmm.
After those people graduated, I will be honest, we had very, 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 actually the first season, no winning
Yeah.
games at all. Going from a district championship to no wins. As a coach, it was very demoralizing, but I had to try to get the girls to understand that, listen, you were on a championship team last year. It exists, and you were a part of it. We have to just find it. So for years, we've been looking and looking and looking, and actually one of my sophomores on the team, Lainey Condolian, her sister, Caitlin, she was a ball girl on the sideline, and now she's a sophomore.
Oh, wow.
And then Andrea as well, Dee Dee, she was my stat girl last year, running around, been on the 6th, 7th, 8th grade team. So they've been a part of the conversations of we're looking and we're searching and we need to find it. And as 7th, 8th, and now 9th graders last year, they found it. And as sophomores, they're maintaining it and they're teaching everybody else how to find it. So truly, we've been digging and digging and digging. So it's been a journey, but everyone's been on it for the past couple of years. And we're finally what feels like on solid ground.
Yeah.
And I feel like we can compete with absolutely anybody that we see.
I mean, Dee Dee's lighting it on fire for the national level. When you talk about the statistics she has, obviously she comes from a very athletic family that has high expectations. You don't necessarily have to poke her and prod her to get her where you want to go. How do you keep her kind of aligned with the rest of the team? Because as we know, in today's day and age, it's all about, personalization and, customization. It's not necessarily about the team anymore. How do you keep this team unified?
So Dee Dee, I have to give her utmost credit. A lot of the times you see very good players act like very good players, and she is the most team-oriented player I've maybe ever met on the planet.
Wow.
Every interview she's sitting in, she's trying to throw me in there, trying to throw her team in there, or a compliment to somebody else. Her parents, like you said, Faith, everybody. She is very selfless in that. So I'm thankful that some of my leadership, with their selflessness, and I try to be selfless in the way that I coach and the way that I give myself to the team, that it's kind of just existing like that. I will be honest, there's girls and there's personalities.
Absolutely.
But this year we've been focused on the soccer, maintaining a family, and it's been brewing. I mean, people are picking each other up, people that never liked each other before, they're high-fiving, they're partners at practice. It's a long time coming, but I'm very, very excited. Unfortunately, when there is conflict, we try to just address it and nail it firsthand. I'm not a beat around the bush kind of girl.
You don't strike me as that.
I don't. I'm very deal with it like that. So the girls have become like that. So we just, if someone on the field tells you what to do, and it's in the moment, you have to be able to understand what the actual message is that they're trying to give you, because the tone isn't always on purpose. We're in the middle of a game. We're in the middle of a practice. But I think that, like I said, the selflessness of our captains, it just bleeds into the rest of the team.
What does the K mean to you, and how do you teach that to up-and-coming young ladies that are part of your program?
So that actually, when I was 21, starting this journey, I sat down with my uncle, and I was like, I remember growing up, every coach kind of has like a thing, and then you look on TV and you see these NFL coaches and these NBA coaches, and there's a thing that they all have. And I'm like, okay, well, my name starts with a K, and Kennedy starts with a K, and if we find something that means something to us. So when I was a kid, I always was someone we would put tape, and I don't know why. We would tape our wrists, and we would write something motivational, whether it was our grandparents' name, our parents' name, God, a cross, if it was silly, whatever it was. And we always had something that every time in the game when you started to feel tired or you started to feel weak or not strong, you said that and you reminded yourself of that. So I tried to combine all of those thoughts into this visual K. So I asked the girls at the beginning of every season to come up with a word or a phrase or something that is positive, it's uplifting. It could be silly, it could be a Bible verse, it could be a song lyric.
Yeah.
And they all write it on there, and we display that every game. And when we're having a hard time, we kind of look at that, we recenter, and then at the end of every game, we pick an honoree of the K.
Wow.
And then that just embodies that you're earning what the team needs. You
Yeah.
just brought everything to the table that we need to be the best of the best, and you embodied that today, whether that was offensively, defensively, from the bench. And it's something that the captains vote on.
Yeah.
And they're funny. They'll be like, hey, coach, come on, who do you think we should vote? I said, listen, this has to be from you.
Yeah.
I want you guys to pick who you think is the standout today.
Yeah.
Not about goals, not about whatever. It's about in your heart. Who was the person that made the difference and
Wow.
won that game? So they really play such a huge role in every part of this,
Yeah.
which is why it feels the way that it feels.
It's incredible. I love your energy. I'm sure it rubs off on the girls. Both practice and games. Who do you model yourself after? I mean, I'm sure you've had a lot of inspirational people in your life that have guided you to be who you are. But now you're a leader of women. Who made you the way you are?
So my mother was very strong,
Yeah.
raised me single mother. So I look to her all the time for the strength and knowing that you can do everything alone. Sometimes it's nice to have help, but you can do everything alone. So I think I approach every situation pretending like it's just me.
Yeah.
And then once I can see what I can handle and if I need some more people, then I
Yeah.
build and I build. And normally when I build on those people, same personality, same energy, so it becomes such a strong and big thing. My grandfather as well, because of my mother working, I was a lot with them, and he was someone that no matter what I did, even if it was wrong, he backed me.
Yeah.
And I feel like you have people in your life that tell you when you do wrong, but sometimes it's nice to have someone to be like, listen, I know you made a mistake, but it's okay. And like, we're going to get through that.
Yeah.
So I bring his advice when it comes to that to the table all the time, because Dee Dee misses a shot. She's the hardest critic on herself.
Yeah.
She needs to look at me and not hear me tell her, come on, also.
Yeah.
She already knows she made a mistake. She needs me to look at me and say, it's okay, do it better next time.
Yeah.
And take a breath. You know, I'm there to not add more onto their shoulders. I'm there to hopefully take more things off of them. And coaching is hard with that, because I try to be a coach that maybe I never had.
Yep.
In certain ways.
Sure.
Being a female, I am a little lucky.
Yeah.
Women have bonds with women, so we can kind of relate on those ways. But I do just try to, like I said, see them as the person and the kid and the woman they're becoming, and I just want to help them blossom into whatever that can be.
Incredible. Coach, thank you very much. This is inspiring. I'll just put it out there. Best of luck to you this season.
Thank you.
And let us know what we can do for you.
Absolutely. Thank you.